Okay, you are searching for an electronic drum kit. \n may be the Alesis Nitro Max. \n you want to know if it's the best bang for your buck. \n I'm going to show you the stunning power and the shocking weaknesses that make this kit a very specific buy. \n but here's what surprised me. This kit is not just for beginners. \n it hides a professional secret that can make or break your decision. \n therefore, before you click Add to Cart, you need to watch this entire review. \n for the best price, click the link in the description. Now let's get noisy. \n first, the promise. This review will save you money and frustration. I've played this kit for months, testing every pad, every sound, every hidden feature. I'll show you the brutal truth about its build quality, the mind-blowing sounds you can unlock, and the one critical mistake most buyers make. But before we dive into the deep end, let's start with the elephant in the room. Or should I say the gorilla, the marketing. Alesis sells this as the ultimate expanded kit. More pads, more sounds, more power. It looks incredible online. Therefore, you're probably thinking it's the obvious choice over the older Nitro Mesh. Is it? Not necessarily. Here's the first contrarian snapback. For many people, the cheaper, older Nitro Mesh might actually be a smarter purchase. I know, crazy, we'll get to that. But first, why are you even looking at an electronic kit? Space, noise, versatility. The Nitro Max promises all three. Let's unpack the box. It comes with an 8-piece set. A snare, 3 toms, a crash, a ride, a hi-hat, and a kick pad. All mesh heads except the kick. That's a big deal. Mesh heads feel better, they're quieter, and they respond more like real drums. That's the immediate value. You get a realistic feel right out of the box. But here's a mini promise. I'll show you how to tweak that feel to perfection later. Now, the module, the brain, this is where the Max really tries to shine. 40 preset kits, over 400 sounds. That's a lot of sonic variety. From crisp acoustic drums to thumping 808s and weird synthetic textures, you can sound like a jazz drummer, a rock god, or a hip-hop producer in seconds. Therefore, it's incredibly fun for experimentation. But scroll-stop interjection, the quality of those sounds is a mixed bag. Some are pristine, detailed, and punchy. Others sound like a drum sample from a 1995 video game. I'll play you the good and the bad so you can hear the difference. Let's talk setup. The rack is adequate. It's mostly the same as the Nitro Mesh rack, just with extra arms for the extra cymbals. It's sturdy enough for home use, but it's not rock solid. If you plan on hitting hard, like you're channeling your inner John Bonham, this rack will wobble. It's a bit of a lightweight. Therefore, you need to be mindful of your playing dynamics. It's a kit for practice and creativity, not for simulating a stadium tour. That's fine, but you should know its limits. Now, the first joke. Assembling this kit is like a trust exercise with the included instructions. You look at the diagram, you look at the pile of pipes, and you just have to trust that eventually it will look like a drum set and not a modern art sculpture. It does, but the process is humorous. Okay, connectivity. This is huge. The Nitro Max has USB MIDI out, so you can easily hook it to a computer for recording or using virtual drum software like Superior Drummer. That's a pro feature. It also has a 1/8-inch aux input, so you can play along to music from your phone, and it has headphone and master output jacks. Therefore, you're covered for silent practice, recording, and playing with tracks. But here's the re-hook. What about playing with other people? Live, I'll reveal a major limitation there later. Let's hit the pads. The snare is the star. It's a 10-inch dual-zone mesh pad. That means you can hit the head for the main snare sound and hit the rim for a cross-stick or side-stick sound. It works well. The sensitivity is good. You can get subtle ghost notes and loud accents. The 3 tom pads are 8-inch single-zone mesh. They feel consistent and responsive. The kick pad is a rubber tower. It's not mesh, but it has a good rebound with the included beater. It's quiet. Therefore, your neighbors will thank you. Now the cymbals, you get 3, a hi-hat, a crash, and a ride. They are all chokeable. You can grab the edge to mute the sound, like on a real cymbal. The hi-hat is a 2-pad system, a pedal and a pad. The pedal controls the open and closed sounds. It's functional, but it's the most obvious budget part of the kit. The feel isn't as nuanced as a high-end electronic hi-hat or, of course, a real one. The transition from closed to open can be a bit abrupt, but you can learn to work with it. The crash and ride are both dual zone. Hit the bow for the main sound, hit the edge for a different, often brighter sound. The ride also has a bell zone. Actually, no, this is a key detail. The ride pad on the Nitro Max does not have a dedicated bell zone. That's a surprise to many. On a real ride cymbal, hitting the bell gives a distinct, piercing sound. On many higher-end e-kits, the ride pad has a third zone for that. The Nitro Max does not. You can assign a bell sound to the edge zone, but then you lose the edge cymbal sound. It's a compromise. Therefore, if you're a player who uses the ride bell a lot, this is a drawback. Let's go back to the module, the interface. It's straightforward. Buttons, a data wheel, a small LCD screen. It's not touchscreen, it's not flashy. You navigate through kits and sounds fairly easily. But editing sounds, tuning drums, changing effects, that's buried in menus. It's not intuitive. It's the kind of system where you might need to keep the manual handy for the first few weeks. Not a deal breaker, but a friction point. Time for joke number 2. Trying to find the perfect snare tuning in the menus is like trying to find a specific grain of sand on a beach. You spin the wheel, you press buttons, and you hope you stumble upon the Goldilocks setting before your patience runs out. But when you find it, it's glorious. Now the sounds. I promised a deep dive. Let's categorize. The acoustic drum kits are generally good. The rock kits have power. The jazz kits have warmth. The default studio kit is probably the best all-rounder. But the electronic and weird kits are where things get fun or questionable. There's a kit called 808 that's pure hip-hop fire. There's a synth kit that sounds like a Depeche Mode track. But there's also a lo-fi kit that sounds like someone recorded drums through a tin can. It's charming, but maybe not useful. Therefore, you have 40 kits, but you'll likely use 10 to 15 regularly. That's still plenty. The power here is customization. You can edit any kit. Change the snare on a rock kit to a deep jazz snare. Replace a tom with a hand clap. Make the kick drum a cannon blast. It's a creative playground, but editing is, as said, menu-heavy. However, the potential is massive. This is that professional secret I hinted at. This module, while basic, is a powerful sound design tool if you're willing to learn its system. You're not just stuck with presets. You can craft your own signature sound. That's a feature often overlooked by beginners, but cherished by more experienced players and producers. Therefore, the Nitro Max can grow with you. Now the elephant returns, or the gorilla. Why might the Nitro Mesh be better for some? Price and simplicity. The Nitro Max has more pads and more sounds, but it's also more expensive. If you don't need the extra crash and ride cymbal, the Nitro Mesh gives you the core kit. Snare, 3 toms, hi-hat, crash, and kick. That's enough for most beginner practice, and its module is nearly identical in function, with slightly fewer kits. If your budget is tight, the Nitro Mesh is a stellar value. But if you want the expanded setup for more expressive playing, more cymbal options, then the Max is the way. It's a but-therefore decision. Therefore, assess your needs and your wallet. Let's talk about the major limitation I teased, playing live or with others. The Nitro Max's master output is decent, but the overall sound quality, when amplified, can expose the lower-end samples. Feeding this kit into a PA system at a gig might not sound as full and professional as a higher-end kit, or obviously real drums. It's a practice and recording kit first. Also, the build, as mentioned, isn't arena-ready. So if your goal is to eventually play live electronic drums, this is a great starting point, but you'll likely upgrade the module or the entire kit down the line. That's the reality. But for home studio recording via USB, it's fantastic. Therefore, know your endgame. Joke 3. The feeling when you first plug in the headphones and play a huge rock kit in complete silence is like discovering you have superpowers. You're making thunderous noise, but your dog is just sleeping peacefully next to you. It's magical and a little bit sinister. Let's get critical. The weak points. The hi-hat pedal is the biggest complaint. It's plastic, it has a simple switch mechanism, and it doesn't offer the continuous range of a real hi-hat or a high-end electronic one. You can get open, closed, and half-open, but the nuance is limited. For serious hi-hat work, this is a bottleneck, the rack wobble. If you're an aggressive player, you'll notice it. You can mitigate it by tightening everything meticulously and maybe not extending the arms too far. But it's a budget rack. The module buttons feel a bit cheap. The data wheel can be jumpy. These are minor, but they remind you of the price point. Therefore, the Nitro Max is not a premium kit. It's a mid-range, feature-packed kit with some budget compromises. Now, the strengths revisited. The mesh heads feel great. The sound library is vast and editable. The connectivity is excellent for home use. The inclusion of a throne, sticks, and cables in the box is a nice bonus. The value proposition is strong if you want an all-in-one package to start playing immediately. But final contrarian snapback, the included sticks are basic. The throne is serviceable but not luxurious. You might want to upgrade both eventually. So the resolution, should you buy the Alesis Nitro Max kit? It depends. Here's my final breakdown. If you are a beginner wanting a full, expressive kit to learn on, with room to grow into sound editing and computer recording, and you have the budget for the Max over the Mesh, then yes, it's a compelling package. If you are an intermediate player looking for an affordable secondary kit for practice and songwriting at home, yes, the sound design features are worth it. If you are a professional looking for a main kit for touring or high-end studio work, no, you'll need to invest more. If you are purely a beginner on a strict budget and don't care about extra cymbals, consider the Nitro Mesh. Therefore, the Nitro Max occupies a sweet spot. It's not for everyone, but for its target audience, it's a powerhouse. One last joke, deciding between the Nitro Max and other kits can feel like choosing a pizza. Do you want the basic cheese, Nitro Mesh, the loaded Supreme Nitro Max, or the gourmet artisanal, a Roland kit? All are pizza, but one has more toppings and one costs as much as a small car. Your choice. To wrap up, I've shown you the incredible versatility, the realistic feel, the creative potential, and the honest drawbacks. You now know about the hi-hat limitation, the rack stability, the missing ride bell, and the menu diving. You're equipped to make a smart decision. Therefore, if this kit aligns with your needs and you're ready to unlock its potential, you can get the best deal right now. For the best price on Amazon, click the link in the description below. That link supports this channel and gets you the kit without the hassle. Thank you for watching. Hit those pads, make some music, and I'll see you in the next review.